Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are San Diego.
President Obama's D.C. home base and the Washington Nationals White House. It's the rubber game of the three-game series here, the Padres and the Nationals. San Diego's rookie catcher Austin Hedges back in the starting lineup tonight. 2 hits last evening and solid as usual behind the plate. As we welcome you to the nation's capital and another beautiful night for baseball, the Padres going against the Nationals and looking for another series win.
I think it's going to be very important. That's what the Padres' success has been. They're looking for their 9th series win since the All-Star game.
And they'll go against Tyson Ross's younger brother, Joe Ross. He's only 22.
22 years old, making his 11th start. And this is probably his most important start of his young career. And he has been fabulous in this uniform. Very similar to Tyson Ross with a fastball, slider, and also changeup. But this young man has pitched very well in the Nationals uni.
We watched Joe Ross watching his brother Tyson win last night, his 9th game of the year. And now the roles are reversed. And last night, the home run ball. Justin Upton, not one, but 2 long shots.
Yeah, and the first one was a laser into the bullpen off Gio Gonzalez. Then Doug Fister coming in, going opposite field for an insurance run, which really played in very importantly for the Padres.
Yeah, that was the winning run as the Padres prevailed 6-5. Well, there was a lot of contact last night here at Nationals Park. And some of it from the Padres' big bats. Both Jerko in this series and Justin Upton with a pair of home runs in a single game. Here we go again from Washington. Baseball brought to you by your San Diego Lexus dealer. By Petco, what we feed them matters. By Sony Action Cam, improve yourself. And by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Have you tried great tasting 5-Hour Energy lately? We have the low humidity the last couple of days, a delight. The temperature not overly heated, and it's a nice, comfortable 78 degrees at game time tonight as we welcome you to this final game of the 3-game series. And time now for the Saquon Pick the Stick. You decide, fans, who you're with by tweeting out hashtag I'm with and the last name of the broadcaster you think has the best pick tonight. If you're right, you could win a free foursome of golf at the Saquon Golf Resort. I had the last pick, and I've got a long shot. I'm hoping you'll hit a long one. Melvin Upton, Mark Grant, who has moved a point ahead of Chris Budden, goes with Justin Upton. Mike Pomerantz says it'll be Solarte. Mark Swinney likes the rookie Jankowski, and Chris Budden goes with Spangenberg.
Yeah, you're putting on a pretty good run. I'm very impressed.
Well, last night, the 2 home runs by Upton really vaulted me. I might even get 200 points this year. Watch out. And we're ready to go as the Padres lineup is brought to you by Toyota. Look at this lineup. This is a new one. Jankowski and Spangenberg, 2 youngsters at the top of the order. Then Solarte hitting third. Justin Upton in the cleanup spot. Matt Kemp bruised a shoulder, making that dive head first last night in right field. Yonder Alonso at first base. Melvin Upton hits 6th in center field. Alexi Amarista at shortstop. Austin Hedges gets another start, inching his way up over that 200 mark perhaps tonight. And Andrew Cashner on the mound.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for the 22-year-old right-hander that was formerly within the Padres organization. Very similar to his older brother. More polished mechanics, but similar style, the fastball slider combination. But it's a very emotional start for him, obviously in the franchise of the San Diego Padres, and picked 25th overall in the 2011 draft. So it's emotional, plus very important game for the Washington Nationals.
Well, he wants to impress his older brother Tyson. You can be certain of that. The Nationals defense is brought to you by Renovation Realty. Worth in left, and Michael Taylor gets a start in center field for Denard Span. Harper in right. Escobar, Desmond, Rondon, and Zimmerman around the horn, with Ramos behind the plate for young Joe Ross from Oakland, California, and Bishop O'Dowd High School. Against left-handed batters, Ross has been cuffed up a bit, 295, and so Pat Murphy has loaded the top of the lineup with lefties, Jankowski, Spangenberg, and Solarte to start.
Oh, this has got to be fun for Tyson. Obviously pitched a very good ball game last night, but watching his younger brother with a lot of pride in the opposing dugout.
And 2-0. The one thing about young Joe Ross that is very impressive is he's hardly walked anyone. In 60-some innings, he's walked 9 batters. There's a strike, 2-1.
Well, that tells me, from the Padres' perspective, be very aggressive, especially on the fastball. Got good velocity on the fastball. His older brother Tyson, mid-90s fastball, but also that slider.
Jankowski 5 for 13 in his short time in the big leagues. Ground ball to the left side. In shallow was Escobar to throw him out. That'll bring up Spangenberg. Yeah, they could have been teammates, and many thought they would be. And Joe Ross wasn't expected to vault his way into the major leagues quite this quickly, but his talent just too much. And Washington has moved him into the starting rotation in Doug Fister's spot. Pretty good. No runs the first inning in his 10 starts.
Well, talking to some of the people in the Washington Nationals organization, they say he is beyond his years when it comes to developing, and also his mound presence.
Fearless, aggressive, will pitch inside. He's well schooled and obviously learned a lot by just watching Tyson growing up. Ties up Spangenberg.
There's that tight slider. Seen the two-seamer a lot already as Pat Murphy looks on. That is a wipeout slider in a tight break in the hitting zone.
That could have been called strike 3. It was right on the edge.
It's going to be interesting. We've watched Wilson Ramos catch all 3 games, and he has taken a lot of pitches that have been borderline out of the strike zone.
Strike 3 swinging. 2 away. That'll bring up Jan Solarte.
We saw everything this at bat, and Corey Spangenberg gets finished off with a 2-seamer that's elevated, that stays up on that plane just under the barrel of the bat.
Tyson a bigger man than Joe, although Ross still stands 6'3", but slighter of build, 185. Taking all the way, 97 on the fastball. Tyson topped out at 96 last night as he picked up his 9th win of the year. Ooh, that ball looked a little inside. 0-2. Hunter Wendelstedt calling balls and strikes, with Hudson, Rackley, and Davidson occupying the bases. Nubbed up the third base side. Late break by Solarte out of the batter's box, and so he's thrown out by a stride. Had he gotten out of there on contact, he might have had an infield hit, but Ross fielding his position very well. All right, thank you, Mike. Cashner will face Worth, Randon, and Harper here in the bottom of the first. And Jason Worth struggling to hit that Mendoza line. Starts the game at 199. 4 for 8 against Cashner in their meetings. And Cashner quickly pumps a couple of strikes in there. And the breaking ball in the dirt.
Padres scouting report brought to you by the Tilted Kilt. And for Andrew Cashner, the offense supported him last time, scoring 12 runs against the St. Louis Cardinals in a win. And also looking for a season high. He's pitched in the 8th inning only once this year. He needs that tonight.
Just off the edge. 2-2. The last 4 games, Cashner has a 3-1 record. Right center field, Melvin Upton makes the catch as he eases his way to the edge of the warning path. A look at the Padres defense brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. The 2 Uptons occupy left and center. Jankowski for Matt Kemp in right field. Solarte and Amarista left side. Spanchenberg at second. Alonso the first baseman. And Hedges behind the plate receiving Andrew Cashner. Anthony Rondon, last 6 games hitting 7 for 21 and a couple of home runs. There's his overall numbers. Fastball for a strike at 95. We'll see a lot of fastballs tonight from both Ross and Cashner. In fact, Cashner throws the fastball about as much as anyone in the league. Strike 2.
Well, there it is, the improved slider. As we see Travis Jankowski, he's going through some firsts tonight. Not only is he leading off, but the first time we've seen him in right field for the Padres.
Matt Kemp, who had missed only 1 game all year. But last night on that play where he was charging toward the infield and took a nosedive in the turf, bruised him up a little bit, so he's going to sit out tonight. Available as a pinch hitter.
Well, Dick, the first time you are out on the corners instead of center field for Travis Jankowski, everything goes to the line. But it's just reading the ball off the bat. And saw him in the batting practice today taking some balls off the bat. That's very important. And plus it's everything's new for him.
Never been in this park before. Popped up behind the plate. Hedges might have a play. Oh, just off the screen into the first row.
Well, what a game Austin Hedges had last night, both offensively and defensively. This young man is maturing in front of our eyes at the big league level.
He picked Bryce Harper off second base, but on the play, Jet Jerko couldn't handle the throw, and so Harper made it to third. They gave him a stolen base, but he would have been a goner.
We saw Derek Norris on the bench there and played first base last night. But Austin has earned this start, and it's going to be pretty interesting how they handle him moving forward because he's earned some more playing time.
Ground ball foul. It's the first time all season that Jerko, Kemp, and Norris are all out of the lineup. A new look starting 9 for Pat Murphy. Jerko a couple of home runs in game 1 on Monday night, or Tuesday rather, and then Upton with a pair of home runs last night. Late swing.
Well, that late swing had a lot to do with the changeup, the previous pitch. He was probably sitting on that breaking ball and then trying to foul off that fastball. As we see Bryce Harper, Steve Finley mentioned, had good success against the Padres this year.
So the count goes full. That'll be the 10th pitch of the at bat coming up. Pitching coach Balsley studying his man on the mound. Strike 3 call. Come back, Mr. Rondon. You have just taken strike 3.
Well, this is a great pitch by Andrew Cashner. The two-seam movement that you see at the top of the strike zone. Again, Austin Hedges sticking that at the top of the zone. And Rondon, you could see giving up on that pitch, but that came back on the plate.
Veteran umpire, the crew chief Wendelstadt, making the call. Here's 2 outs and Bryce Harper, Mr. All Everything in the National League. Second best batting average to D. Gordon, who's hitting .333. He leads in home runs with 31. His on base percentage and slugging percentage are ridiculously high, way above anyone else.
3 on the right, and Alexi Amarista only 1 on the left side of the infield.
Yeah, this time he does foul the ball off his front foot. Let's take a look at the keys to the game tonight, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
See Pat Murphy laughing at the foul ball, but the keys to the game: Jankowski and Spangenberg at the top of the order, Speed at the top of the lineup against Joe Ross. See if he disrupts him, and then also efficient outing by Andrew Kashner will give added rest to the bullpen, which would be needed.
Bob Davidson managing, or rather umpiring at third, with manager Murphy jibing him about the play 2 nights ago when Harper faked being hit by his own foul tip. Got away with it. Line drive, left field, base hit. Man, he just is a tough out. This time the ball does hit him in the shin. Instep.
Oh, no faking that one.
The other night, that was a ground ball out to first, and he crumpled, and then he faked like it hit him, and he got away with it. He walked. That's the only steal of first I've ever seen.
Yeah, someone said he's the leading candidate for an Oscar this year.
Yeah, that's right. Hollywood taking note. Yunel Escobar is the hitter. Nice block by Austin Hedges. Two-out single for Harper. 32-year-old Cuban. Escobar at the plate. Acquired from the Oakland A's. 2-0. The relief pitcher, right-hander Tyler Clippard, going to Oakland for Escobar, and he's delivered. .308 average.
Well, Dick, we've seen Austin Hedges behind the plate, but you watch this slider in the dirt and his mechanics defensively blocking it so it doesn't get away from him and advancing Harper to scoring position. The little things that he does makes it look very easy. It is not.
3-0 and a strike. 3-0 was a very big play last night, because when the Nationals scored 3 in the 7th inning to cut the lead to 6-5, they had runners at first and third and only 1 out when Escobar swung at a 3-0 pitch and grounded into an inning double play. This one isn't going to be grounded. That's a shot to center for a base hit. Harper will pull up at second. So a couple of 2-out singles for the Nationals here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up Ryan Zimmerman. Zimmerman, a grand slam home run in the Washington win on Tuesday night. Kashner in 2-out trouble here in the bottom of the first.
Oh, Dick, like last night with Mark Zepchinski, the 3-0 pitch. One pitch getting out of the inning. The same thing for Kashner here. The philosophy is just executing a pitch in this point of the game. Already 23 pitches.
Hits the outside corner at 96. Center field, and Upton racing back. Can he get there? Oh, wow. My! Willie Mays basket catch going away for Melvin Upton. How do you do? And that ends the threat here in the first inning. That looked as if it was going to carry for extra bases. What a play.
I think he said it best when he said, I hope he pitches well, and then we beat the bullpen.
Welcome back. So Tyson Ross taking a page out of little brother's media savvy book and saying, I'd like maybe if our bullpen can beat him up and not actually on Joe. So we'll see if that happens. He said he's not going to be quite as nervous watching his brother tonight as when he was watching in his major league debut a couple months ago. But they have such a great, fun little rivalry. We talked to Joe. He said, hey, between the two of you, who's the better hitter? He said, I'd like to say me, but Tyson hit that home run this year, so he's got one on me. He said, maybe I'll get one tomorrow. We'll see.
And then, of course, Tyson last night goes 2 for 2 with a sacrifice. So he is by far the Padres' best hitting pitcher. Justin Upton leads off the second and takes ball 1 from Joe Ross. Here in August, Ross has been more ordinary than his earlier starts. He's 2-2 and a 4.18 ERA, and he's given up 6 home runs this month, something his brother doesn't do very often. In fact, he's given up more home runs this month than Tyson has given up all year.
And Dick, I think it's going to be important to see with Joe Ross being the younger, only 22 years old. The Washington Nationals have to be very cautious of how many pitches, how many innings he's throwing. It's going to be interesting how they handle that. They sent down Tanner Roark to their single A affiliate to try to lengthen him out. He won 15 games in the big leagues last year. As we take a look at the game streak,
there's a lot of home run each of the last 6 games. 3-0 Upton, and ball 4, a 4-pitch walk, and as we said, he hasn't given up many bases on balls, only 9 in 10 starts. Time now for the Bill Howe play of the game. And we just saw it in center field. With 2 men on, they both would have scored if Melvin Upton doesn't chase this one down. And over the shoulder basket catch, some 400 feet from home plate. A salute from the pitcher Cashner. That saved a big inning.
Big inning, and also 25 pitches on that inning by Andrew Cashner. The importance of playing defense behind him.
5 straight pitches out of the strike zone from Ross. Alonso the batter. A strike with the fastball. Alonso at 272. That's the Padres' best batting average.
He threw a 2-seamer to Zimmerman over at first base. Previous pitch was a slide step. But Joe Ross does a nice job holding runners, and typically you'll have some younger pitchers that aren't very good at holding runners. But Joe actually does a very nice job.
Two and one to Yonder Alonso. Padres again trying to take this game and another series. It would make 5 consecutive series wins and 9-3 in series since the All-Star break. Alonso with a fly ball into the right field corner, doesn't have enough distance, and caught in fair territory by Harper for the first down. Well, let's compare older brother Tyson with younger brother Joe.
Well, heavy on the slider, as you can see on the second line for both guys, and influencing by Tyson Ross and his success at the big league level. And also the changeup. A little more changeups for Joe Ross, and most of the time that's against left-handed hitters.
Tyson last night 6 1/3. He struck out 9 and won his 9th game of the year. Gave up 4 runs, but 2 of those runs were scored after he left the game, as the bullpen gave up the 2 charged to him. Melvin batting .234, 5 home runs. There's the line on Tyson last night.
Now, as you mentioned too, Dick, he helped himself offensively, not only hitting but also the sacrifice bunt.
Ross falls behind 2-0. So he walked Upton to open the inning on 4 pitches. Went 2-1 on Alonso, who flied out. Now 2-0 to Melvin Upton Jr. Lined but right at Harper. 2 away. Ram Trucks tools of the trade tonight.
Well, Dick, it has a lot to do with the sliders, and for the brothers throwing the slider. Tyson Ross last night, you could see just the downward movement and the late movement down and away to these right-handers, and awkward swings all night long on that pitch. Just to see how the younger brother fares with his slider. He's only thrown a few of them tonight.
2 outs to Alexi Amarista. With 2 away, Justin Upton, the Padres' top base stealer, might take a shot. Strike 1. Amarista begins tonight at 211. Family Ross from Oakland, California. How thrilling is that to see last night Tyson Ross, your older son, win a game, and now young Joe tonight?
It's going to be a proud moment for both of them. And
that's Dad on the far left in the red shirt, and Mom over there with the Washington jersey on the far right.
I wonder if she wore a Padres uniform last night.
I bet she did. A ball and a strike to Amarista. He takes another strike.
And that's the slider right there, the backdoor slider.
And a swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the second strikeout for Joe Ross. Bottom of the second we go, no score. center field. And he is a 5-tool player. There's the capsule of last night's Padres 6-5 win. Even the series. And now Cashner goes to work. Bottom of the second. Ian Desmond leads it off. Desmond, a .229 hitter with power, 15 home runs. Second baseman Spangenberg with a tough hop. Good play. One away to Wilson Ramos, the catcher. Cashner, just as a review, was a #1 draft pick himself 7 years ago by the Chicago Cubs, the 19th overall selection, and of course came over to the Padres in the Anthony Rizzo deal.
I've seen Andrew Cashner tonight being very aggressive with that fastball, both on his glove side and his arm side. Both two-seamers and the four-seamer.
Another strike with a fastball.
You see him getting a lot of movement on that two-seamer.
Swing and a miss. And that's the second strikeout for Cashner. Well, Mark Sweeney, when I go back to my days calling the Angels games, the conversation when you talk baseball, I worked with Don Drysdale, certainly knew pitching, didn't he? No one talked about a cutter, and very rarely did anyone talk about a two-seam fastball.
Yeah, it had a lot to do with the four-seamer and reaching back and with the velocity. But now you're seeing them implement not only the two-seamer, but the cutter is a very popular pitch. Mariano Rivera, when you talk about cutter, that's the guy that you think of, but a lot of the starters are implementing it.
It's the evolution of the pitching game. Michael Taylor getting the start in center field tonight, and with Bernard Span on the injured list, Taylor did a terrific job of filling in. He's got a lot of power. 1-2. 13 home runs for him. Strikes out a lot, but he's among the leaders, National League rookies in several departments, including stolen bases.
It's going to be hard to find playing time for him with Bernard Span off the disabled list, but they like this young man. Like you said, Dick, has the power in the bat. Still trying to refine his mechanics to be consistent. I think the consistency that Matt Williams would like to see is the reducing of the strikeouts. You see that in the game these days. So many strikeouts from these lineups.
He's just 24 years of age, Taylor. Third baseman Solarte, and he gets him by a full stride. A 1-2-3 inning for Andrew Cashner, and we've completed 2 in DC.
Top of the third, no score. And here's Will Myers taking early batting practice today. His first time out on the field yesterday. He took some swings in the cage. So the good news, the wrist was feeling fine today to continue hitting. There is no timetable yet on when he would leave for a rehab assignment because they want to check and see tomorrow that the wrist still feels well. But the hope is that he can get out on an assignment before the minor leagues end, which is around the end of that first week of September. But good news that he's progressing.
Well, that is good news. The Padres lineup would certainly be bolstered by his return.
Well, you think about it, Chris, too. He took swings in the cages yesterday, but then out on the field today. It means that he had a good bounce back day, which is very important after you start using that wrist. And I'm sure it's not 100% swings, but working his way into it.
Top of the third, Padres bring up Austin Hedges, then the pitcher Kastner, and the leadoff man Jankowski. Hedges a couple of base hits last night. Trying to nudge that batting average up into the 200s. Only 92 at bats all year. Fooled on that pitch. And a strikeout on 3 pitches. That's the third punch out for Joe Ross. One away to Andrew Kastner.
We start to see him slowly increase the number of sliders. And these Padre hitters are getting behind 0-1. He's trying to put him away with that slider of his, and that's a weapon.
Kastner with 5 hits on the year. He's getting that first pitch fastball in there. 96 on that one.
A lot of early takes from the Padres. I don't know if they're trying to see it out of his hands, maybe drive the pitch count up. But when you're throwing strikes, it's going to force him to swing early.
Foul tip caught the catcher Ramos.
Game break. Toronto Blue Jays and the Texas Rangers. 2 talented clubs going at it.
Toronto now leading the American League East ahead of the Yankees. And Texas hunting at least for a wild card. Nubbed in front of the plate. Ramos, the catcher, takes care of business. 2 away. And top of the order, Travis Jankowski. Padres looking for their first hit. They have only 1 base runner, Justin Upton's walk. So after the game tonight, the Padres will climb on a luxury bus and travel a couple of hours up to Philadelphia. And we'll be with you tomorrow night, Saturday and Sunday, from the city of brotherly love.
What do you want to talk about on the bus ride?
Well, I've got all kinds of topics, very pertinent. Here in Washington, you hear so much conversation about so many different issues. We'll go over the hitters.
I like it. I'm all in.
Jankowski grounded to third his first time. Consistently pumping that first pitch fastball for a strike. One hopper to the shortstop, Desmond. You can see Jankowski flying, but a 1-2-3 inning for Joe Ross. We got at the bottom of the third, no score. All right, Mike. Padres and Nationals in a deadless tie here, scoreless tie. And Joe Ross leads off in the third. He's got a couple of hits and 23 at bats. And it's to Worth and Rondon. Strike two. A little bit tight. Gets the call.
Tyson's pointing out there where he put some lasers out there on the outfield. Swung the bat very well last night.
And Russ goes down swinging. 3 strikeouts now for Cashner. Top of the order we go. Jason Worth.
Well, Andrew Cashner has settled in and he looks very comfortable. When he is settled in, he looks like he's playing catch with Austin Hedges, and that's what he's gotten into right now.
Reminder, tomorrow night as we open the series in Philadelphia, it'll be 4 o'clock TV time here on Fox Sports San Diego. Ian Kennedy will be on the mound facing Aaron Nola. Young Nola is 4-1.
Very talented young man. We saw him in San Diego pitch against the Padres. One of their top prospects in the Philadelphia Phillies organization.
2-0 to Jason Worth. Sent a deep drive to right center. His first at bat. Upton playing fairly shallow out there in center field. Way over into right center. Three and 0. So 3-0. A lot of talk about the 3-0 swing last night by Escobar that led to a double play. And Worth taking 3-1. What did you think about that?
Well, I thought it was odd, but you look at the manager and the manager's style in Matt Williams. In his career, he was a guy that liked swinging 3-0 and hit over 500 in those situations. So
line drive base hit on the 3-1 pitch. That's the third hit for the Nationals. So last night, a couple of runs that scored, and the Padres lead was down to 6-5. Runners at first and third, and the bouncer to Solarte. Great turn by Jerko, and the inning over. Escobar going in there head first, couldn't quite beat the relay, and that was huge.
Well, nice throw, nice pitch by Mark Zebchinski, but Matt Williams, in discussing it after the game, said, hey, listen, I want these guys to learn situations and understand that they're being aggressive in those spots.
Rendon takes strike one.
But I really didn't prefer swinging. I mean, obviously, I was a bench player, so it's a different scenario. But you think of some of the real good hitters in the game of baseball, and Mark McGwire, even with all of those home runs he hit, did not like swinging 3-0. But you know, we talked about it, Matt Williams, another successful third baseman in his playing days. He liked swinging 3-0. Was aggressive and looking for a certain pitch, but the tendency as a hitter is to overswing in those situations and try to not only drive those runs in, but drive yourself in, and you can get too big in those situations. I think that's what happened to Escobar last night.
A ball, 2 strikes now to Rondon. Some barking going on in that first base dugout, but that was at the top of the strike zone. Number 3, that's a strike. Two and 2. The tantalizing part of that 3-0 and knowing that you can swing is that to be patient enough to only swing if it's that perfect pitch for you.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean green light means no matter what comes here, go ahead and swing at it.
Well, it's that small window that you start minimizing as the count goes in your favor. And I thought that was a perfect pitches pitch, which is to the credit of Mark Zebchinski.
Yeah, Cashner now has gone full count again, 50 pitches already, and he has only 6 outs, 7 outs. And trouble lurks behind with Bryce Harper on deck. Harper with a sharp single to left field his first time. Watch out. That ball going deep into the lower tier.
Well, the second at bat of this game for Rendon, and seeing a lot of pitches for him. That's a benefit to hitters. You're seeing it out of the hands. Even if he's fouling balls off, it's the timing that you're getting. You might benefit from that as this game goes along.
Line drive, center field, and caught by Upton. The throw back to first base, and it's a double play. They're going to tag him as well. Upton, did he catch it cleanly? Some of the Nationals feel that he trapped the ball, and here comes Matt Williams. We may have a review of this. It's hard to even tell there, isn't it? Looks like he might have gotten his glove there just as it arrived. Not enough there to overturn. Let's see here if it bounces.
When you think about one of the hardest plays to call, and it looks like it hits the ground in that replay. This is a hard call for the umpires, turning around and trying to see if it does indeed hit the ground first. I think that's what Matt Williams and Jason Worth are talking about, because it looked like the umpires weren't on the same page on the call.
And meanwhile, Jason Worth, he didn't know where to go back and avoid a double play. He got hung up in between, so they not only tagged the base, they tagged him. So if this is ruled a trap and a base hit, what happens to the base runner? Is he out? So here's where football has it over baseball. The referee would explain exactly what has happened. And in baseball, what would be wrong with the umpire in chief or the third base umpire having a microphone to explain a situation?
Yeah, there's too many people not knowing.
We're going to call this no play, or what are they calling here?
No catch, because the throw went into Yonder Alonso. Yonder Alonso was thinking it was going to be doubled up. He goes and applies the tag to Jason Worth, so he is out.
So it's a fielder's choice to the center fielder. There's an out on the play. They ruled this no catch, but Worth caught in between. He couldn't tell. Yeah, there you can see it does just hit the grass as it goes into the webbing of the glove. Happens so fast. Tough call.
Well, he throws into first base, and there's Yonder Alonso, and they're not doubled off. You see the first base umpire, Marvin Hudson, saying safe, and then they apply the tag on Jason Worth. He's frustrated because he didn't see a definitive sign by the umpire.
So if you're scoring, that's a fielder's choice with Worth out 9-3.
Well, Melvin still thinks he caught that.
No hit for the smiling Rendon. That'll bring up Bryce Harper. 2 out. Shift on. Solarte over on the second base side. Amarista stays on the shortstop side.
Bobby!
2-0. Harper's single was to left field first time up, defying the shift. I saw him square to bunt as if to tell Amarista, you better not play too deep over there. I'll bunt my way on. But that would be playing into the Padres' hands. Strategically, they want him to bunt.
Yeah, I want him to bunt, so I want to force him. I mean, if you're the Padres defense, move all the way back, because that's a gift if he's going to lay a bunt down. Give him the single and attack the next hitter in Escobar.
Harper 3-0 as he's swinging. That's a strike at the knees.
Well,
now there's a
an easy
case where the
take.
pitch was too good, right?
Exactly, and he was looking for that pitch. It looked like he wasn't even offering it that. But you can see the strike zone tonight, and I've said it a lot of times. The inconsistency of this series has really stuck out.
3-1. He goes around this time. No argument from Harper. And he was really cranked up, ready to fire, so much so that he knocked himself on his backside trying to hold up.
Well, we've seen him on the ground a lot. Bring out the stretcher.
Redo MASH, he might want to get into the cast. 3-2, runner goes, and ball 4. Cashner's first walk, and Harper, for the 93rd time this year, gets a free ticket.
This next offering will be 60. And that's an alarming rate if you're Andrew Cashner.
And he gets ahead of a lot of hitters and a lot of foul balls, and then a ball, and then a foul ball, and then another ball, and next thing you know, it's a 2-2-3-2 count.
Well, I've never been a pitcher, but the issues that Andrew Cashner has had all year long, as Darren Balsley starts discussing with Pat Murphy.
So 2 on, 2 out to Yonel Escobar, who singled sharply back through the box his first time. Ball 1. Changeup. No score, but the Nationals threaten again here with 2 outs in the 3rd, and the Padres fortunate that the bases aren't loaded with 1 out. The play in center field, the trap by Melvin Upton, cost Washington an out. This is the 25th pitch of this inning from Cashner. And a fly ball to right, but it's going to carry to Jankowski. A line drive fly ball. No score after 3.
But that's exactly what we're going to do. Tyson Ross on the left, and you can see the depth of that slider. Austin Hedges trying to block it, and Joe Ross's slider, you can see the depth of that, but the same exact grip and the same action. Very similar approaches and wipeout sliders. That's their weapon.
They both have fastballs, plus 95. Ross throws, Joe Ross throws some more changeups than Tyson. Big full moon peeking around the corner, trying to catch some of the action here at Nationals Park. Between innings, Jason Worth, who was caught between first and second, still confused about what am I supposed to do here? If you don't make the call, I can't react. If you call that a trap right away, then I run to second base, but no one called it. It's got an argument, but that's what happens. One try by Spangenberg, and that ball's thrown away by Ramos, and Spangenberg can keep right on running. He's around second, heading for third. Here comes a throw from right field. Not in time, and the Padres get a bunt single and a two-base throwing error as Spangenberg deadens that ball beautifully. First Padre hit.
Well, some of the keys we talked about is disrupt Joe Ross, and how you do that is using the speed at the top of the lineup. Corey Spangenberg puts a nice bunt down, and Ramos has to throw on the run into right field. Then the slide in the third. That was an awkward slide, and he stays on the bag.
Barely. Look at that right toe just hanging on.
And that's aggressive with no outs. You got to be sure, and Spangenberg shows that speed that he has.
Matt Williams may have been questioning whether or not Spangenberg stayed in that 3-foot lane the last 45 feet to first base. Let's check it again.
I saw Hunter Wendelstedt give the safe call after the throw into right field.
Well, he's hugging that inside part of the line all the way to first base.
I'm wondering if he's asking if he was out of the batter's box when he bunted that pitch. But again, we've had scenarios in this series with the umpires in the first game not getting together. I like this. If they have the discussion and come up with a collective effort, I don't have any problem with that. That's exactly what Matt Williams was asking him to do.
See, Ramos had to throw around Spangenberg. Had he hit Spangenberg, there's a real argument for him being out because he wasn't clearly in that 3-foot lane. But the Padres perhaps catch a break here, certainly on the throwing error from Ramos. So no one out, and Solardi a chance to give the Padres the early lead. Infield in, and they'll get a run and maybe more. That ball's driven deep to right center field, and Taylor able to get to the warning track to make the catch. And walking home is Spangenberg. It's 1-0 Padres.
Good job, Sully.
51st RBI for Solarte.
Jan Solarte hitting in the third spot tonight. It's a nice job and a nice approach with the sacrifice fly. Doing some handshakes, getting on top. 1-0.
Time now for our Arco top tier profile. Justin Upton with a couple of home runs last night. He continues to punish Washington pitching. 329 overall average against the Nats with 9 home runs. He walked the first time up.
He looks calm in the batter's box. He is due for one of those hot stretches. Saw him last night with the 2 home runs.
22 now in the season. There's the slider.
So it's a powerful approach, and it's a power threat in the batter's box. You have bat speed to go along with just mechanically looking sound. Uses lower half so well.
.95 on the Joe Ross fastball. Got the big Geico going here tonight. Strike 3. He fooled him with a breaking ball. 4 strikeouts now for Joe Ross. Yonder Alonso flied into the right field corner his first time up. We're talking about making your hits count, huh? 15-foot single, and that's all the Padres have, but they have the run. As that induced the throwing error by catcher Ramos. Ball 1.
Well, when you have speed at the top of the lineup, you see Spangenberg and also Jankowski just disrupting them, and using your strengths, which is the bunt. That's what Spangenberg did to lead off this inning.
Two and one to Yonder. With his 40 walks and his .272 batting average, the best on base percentage for a Padre hitter. But his on base percentage is something like 100 points below Bryce Harper.
Yeah. Talented young man.
And ball four. So there's his 41st walk. Second given up by Ross tonight. So the inning continues, and Melvin Upton Jr. is the batter. He lined out to right field his first time.
See if these Padres the second time around start getting a little more aggressive on the fastball. He's going to flip that slider in for a strike. It's okay for that to be taken, but not the fastball.
Fastball tails outside. See the second time through in his previous appearances, 10 starts, big difference. Opposing hitter's success. Well, he challenges Melvin Upton. '50th pitch of the night for the 22-year-old. The slider.
Well, high fastball the previous pitch, and then he throws the slider on that same plane. Has that depth out of the strike zone.
Stays alive.
Well, especially on the pull side, balls in play for Melvin Upton Jr. Saw him line out to right field his last at bat, but predominantly pull, and you've seen a much improved swing as late.
Swing and a miss, and another strikeout for Ross. That's his 5th, but the Padres get a run unearned. Bunt single, 2-base throwing error by catcher Ramos, and a sacrifice fly. 1-0 San Diego. to you by Sequan Casino. Play, win together in the heart of San Diego. By Mercury Insurance. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today and see how much you could save. And by RCP Block and Brick. Start your outdoor project at rcpblock.com. So the Padres on a bunt single and a two-base error and a sacrifice fly take the lead 1-0. Bottom of the fourth, Ryan Zimmerman leads it off for Washington. And of concern is the pitch count of Cashner, 62 already, starting the fourth inning.
Well, that looked like a BP fastball, 91 miles an hour on that pitch, but good movement. Looks comfortable with his fastball. That slider doesn't look as sharp tonight.
14 homers in 45 games for Zimmerman against Padre pitching. With 2 men on in the first inning, it was Zimmerman who bolted a drive to deep center field, and Melvin Upton outran it and made the basket catch going away. Saved a couple of runs.
He's asking for it up.
1-2.
Now, if you pitch at the top of the strike zone, obviously velocity comes into it, but even with that out of the strike zone, it changes that eye level of the hitters. You can go to that secondary stuff off of it.
Outside, so he gets 2 strikes, and then ball 1, ball 2, and here he is, another long count. 94.8 average, the 5th fastest fastball on average. Matt Harvey, 96 for the Mets. So 0-2 to 3-2.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the pitch count, and you can't be afraid of pitching to contact. Defense behind him has been pretty good, as we talked about Melvin Upton's catch. But you're right, Dick. He gets ahead, and then he starts looking like he's nibbling a little bit.
Nothing wrong with the 3-pitch strikeout. And that is strike 3, and it was on the outside corner, as you could see on Fox Tracks.
I don't know why Ryan Zimmerman is upset. He has been calling this pitch and the movement on Cashner's fastball. And we see this and it coming back on that outside part of the plate.
And it's time for our Cholula flamethrower.
Well, listen, 98 miles an hour, and we see that fastball. That is hot sauce.
First pitch to Desmond is low and away. Spanchenberg made a good play on Desmond to deny him the last time.
Well, that's a good pitch. Back-to-back sliders by Andrew Cashner. We've seen Ian Desmond this whole series look like he's trying to not only try to drive the ball out of the ballpark, but pull those home runs.
Almost stepped into that. Ball in 2 strikes.
It looked like he locked up on that pitch, and obviously the foul ball. They're going to take a look at him.
See what happens on that pitch inside.
Looks like off the knob of the bat, and then his hand. But a lot of the pitches to Ian Desmond have been away. With that check swing, you just hold back so much, and you wonder if it's part of his lower half.
Yeah, it seems as if he's favoring a knee, not a hand.
There's the ball off the knob of the bat. You wonder if it hit his hand as well. With that right ankle.
It's going to stay in. Count 1 ball 2 strikes. There's no one on. One away here in the 4th. Bryce Harper and the Nationals start tonight 6.5 games out of first place, occupied by the Mets. The Mets are completing their series in Philadelphia. Ground ball into right field. A base hit for Desmond. That's the 4th Washington hit. 1 out to Wilson Ramos. Ramos struck out swinging his first time.
I see Ian Desmond going the other way with 2 strikes. It's just nice hitting by Ian Desmond after that check swing. Looks like he's running fine down to first base.
That's really a wild pitch. Even the Hedges couldn't stop that one. A breaking ball that was thrown about 50 feet. And almost impossible to get your body in front of that. So a wild pitch moves the tying run into scoring position.
Well, Andrew Castro just pulls this. Very difficult to get that body in position to block it towards home plate. See that right shoulder not getting closed enough, but good try by Austin Hedges.
Desmond carrying the tying run, a single and a wild pitch. With 1 out here in the 4th. Ramos to be followed by Michael Taylor. Philadelphia is leading the Mets tonight 5-2 in the 4th inning. Line drive 2-run homer in the Tuesday night win for Washington for this man Ramos. He has 11 home runs.
Oh, that's a good changeup by Andrew Castro off of that fastball. Changeup in, especially pull hitters. Wilson Ramos ends up getting around this baseball. See the changeup? And working inside in the good location by Andrew.
So he's ahead of another hitter, 1 and 2. Let's see if we can put him away on this pitch. 75 tosses already. It's not even close enough to have the hitter think about swinging.
Well, it's a different grip, and he's been trying to work on that. Has had recent success with the new slider. But tonight, just not getting a good feel for that. See him just getting around that slider and pulling it just a little too much. It's an easy take for the hitters.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And at second with 1 out. Broken back ground ball to short. Amaristo across for the out. As Desmond moves to third. 2 away. Michael Taylor, the hitter, with a pitcher to follow. First base open.
Now Andrew's getting some success in with that fastball because he's running in on the hands of the hitters. Got in the kitchen of Wilson Ramos.
Taylor with success. 2 outs, runners in scoring position, and the Padres, noting that, aren't going to let him swing. They'll put him on and take their chances with Joe Ross, who did not look good at striking out his at bat in the third. And ball 4. So Joe Ross has had little success as a hitter in the big leagues. 2 singles and 24 at bats. With a chance to help himself, first and third, and 2 gone here in the 4th inning. One of his 2 hits with a runner in scoring position, and he hits this one sharply, but to Solarte, the throw across for the out. Well, he got good wood on it, but the Nationals strand 2 more, 6 in the game. Spangenberg taking advantage of the Ramos throwing error. Nationals no runs, 4 hits. They've left 6 men on base. In the top of the 5th, it'll be the lower 3rd for San Diego. Amarista, Hedges, and Cashner. Padre faithful there in box seats. Amarista struck out swinging his first time as Joe Ross completes his warm-ups. He struck out 5 and walked 2. 52 pitches for the young right-hander. Now you see Joe Ross tonight and you hear all the raves about him, and yet the Padres were willing to let him go in a trade.
Yeah. Well, you think about it too, and what he's improved on is the movement on his fastball. When we saw Joe Ross last year in spring training, a lot of it was talked about mechanics and then also the straight fastball. And he's been learning to move it, but also not taking away from velocity. You see the 2-seamer tonight. He's had a lot of success. He's always had that slider, but he's had to refine that.
So the trade, and Washington obviously delighted by getting 2 very talented young players, Joe Ross and Trey Turner, the shortstop, who's in the dugout tonight. He's on the roster. Padres got Will Myers in the 3-corner deal with Tampa Bay, receiving Steven Souza, the outfielder from Washington.
Well, the great unknown, Dick, is how pitchers are going to mature and also develop. See Trey Turner right there that has not got a start since he's been up.
Padres also got in that deal Ryan Hannigan, who then was traded immediately to Boston for Will Middlebrooks. Middlebrooks completing his season at El Paso, and we're guessing we're going to see him in the September call-up, so right around the corner. Amarista struck out his first time and takes ball 2.
Well, just a point on that trade. If you're going to acquire talent, which it's Will Myers, and obviously he's had health issues, you have to give talent away. and Joe Ross wasn't expected to be at the big league level at this point, and credit him for getting here. And also the Nationals to develop him. Trey Turner's done a nice job increasing that, but you can't judge it on what's happening right now. It's a long-term part of it. And yes, Trey Turner is the guy that is projected to be the Nationals shortstop, but you don't even know if that's going to happen.
#1 pick of the Padres last year out of North Carolina State. All three. Ross was the #1 pick a couple of years ago.
There's such a huge difference between the minor leagues and the big leagues, both mentally and physically. See, Joe Ross has obviously done a nice job with his opportunities in his 11th start today.
3-1 to Alexei. Sharply hit, but right at the second baseman Rondon. One away. Austin Hedges steps up. He struck out on a slider the first time. Well, and the other part of that equation is, even though Will Myers did have some injury history, you didn't expect him to have so much trouble this year, required surgery, and so the services of Myers has been so limited. We saw what he could do when he was healthy start of the year.
Well, the upside to Will Myers.
Line drive down the right field side, but slicing foul. Hedges just misses the extra bases.
Well, upside is always hard to predict, especially when you go through health issues for Will Myers. But this is a talented young man that can play multiple positions. You saw him challenged this year by playing center field, leading off. This is a middle of the order bat that could be a difference maker.
And he's only 24 now.
You have to meet those expectations as well, and sometimes that's very difficult. You never know what's going to happen moving forward. They have to get Will Myers healthy to be judging a trade of that magnitude.
1-1 to Hedges. Broken bat, roller to third, easy chance for Escobar. Couple of ground ball outs. 2 away here in the 5th, and Cashner the hitter.
Padre fans, tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SDDataStrongFan, and you just might be on an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
We'll have our strong photo a bit later in our telecast tonight. With 2 gone, here's Cashner. He tapped out in front of the plate, throwing up a catcher Ramos his first time. Padres only a 1 hit. That's the bunt single by Spanshenberg off Joe Ross. He's everything that the Washington folks were raving about. One and one.
Well, the one thing I always look at from a young pitcher is mound composure, and he definitely has that.
His teammates call him fearless. Trying to bunt his way, Cashner. 1-2. In case you're just joining us, the Padre run came in the 4th inning when Spanshenberg, leading off, bunted out in front of home plate. Close play at first, and Ramos, the catcher, threw the ball into right field, and Spanshenberg, with his speed, raced all the way around to third and scored on Solarte's sacrifice fly. Ground ball, nice play by Escobar, ranging to his left. 3 ground ball outs. A 1-2-3 inning again for Joe Ross. Rondon and Harper for the Nationals against Andrew Cashner. 1-0 Padres. Worth a single to right field his last time. He fly deep to center the other at bat. One and one. A couple of minor leaguers honored by the Texas League, the San Antonio Mission team, the AA ball club of the Padres. 1-1, 2-1. Yason Asensio, the outfielder, hitting .305 with 12 homers, 70 runs batted in, named to the year-ending All-Star team, and Colin Ray, who's now with the big club, also named. That's in there. 2-2. Ray was 3-2 with a 1.08 ERA while he was with the Missions. And former bullpen coach with the Padres, Jimmy Jones, who's the pitching coach for the San Antonio team, was named the Texas League Coach of the Year.
Hey, congratulations, JJ, and also the players. We can shake Colin's hand tonight.
That's just off the plate and another full count. Driving that pitch count up to 87. 6th full count tonight. Cashner. And you walk the leadoff man. That's asking for trouble. 3rd walk tonight from Cashner. He was ahead on the count.
Well, you see the slider comparison. We've talked a lot about the slider tonight. Tyson on the left, and you could see him with a lower release point, and then the grip of Andrew Cashner's. He's a little more on top. He's working on that new grip. And tonight, just an inconsistency of that pitch tonight, but it's one of those weapons that he has to have, and you can see the reason why the pitch count is up, because he hasn't had that slider consistently tonight.
So you set the table with the leadoff man Worth, and here come the big hitters for Washington. Again, he gets the first strike to Rondon, who has struck out, and he hit that line drive to center field that Upton almost caught, rolled a trap, confused Worth, who was at first base. They were able to get Worth out, and so Rondon no hit, a fielder's choice. Worth not a serious threat to steal. In fact, he's not stolen a single base all year. Line drive right field. Rondon sends one the opposite way. Worth stops at second. 2 on, no one out for Bryce Harper.
Well, this is a good pitch and better hitting by Rondon, using that hole in between first and second. Smart hitting and knowing that you can take that pitch the other way and stay inside that ball.
Well, the 1-0 lead for the Padres in jeopardy now as one of the game's very best hitters steps up with no one out and 2 on. Darren Balsley out to talk to Cashner. Padres were hoping that Cashner would have some easy innings tonight and be able to go 7. The bullpen is a bit weary at this point.
Yeah, and you also got to credit the Washington Nationals. This is a talented group offensively, and they haven't been on all cylinders all year long. It's led by this man, Bryce Harper, who a lot of people say he is the MVP if the season ended today. It's the type of season he's had.
He's played in 119 games, and only 10 times out of 119 did he not reach safely at least once.
Well, he's gained consistency, and he is that threat. That's the reason why he's hitting 3rd.
Lashes that one foul.
Yeah, Andrew reached back on that one, 97 miles an hour. He'll turn up the dial because this is the matchup.
Infield hoping for a double play.
That's the Friar faithful right there. Welcome.
2 on, no one out here in the Washington 5th. Ooh, got him to chase up the ladder.
Yeah, I think he was sitting breaking ball there. Shaking his head because he went through the wrong process.
Like so many hitters tonight, Cashner ahead on the count, 2 strikes. Just hasn't been able to finish them off. Getting into deep counts even though well ahead. And here he is again, 0-2. Sharply hit left field, base hit. Charging is Upton and holding at third is Worth. Bases loaded with no one out as Harper delivers again. 2-strike pitch, just makes great contact. Barrels it up again.
Pitch by pitch to Bryce Harper. The fastball 97 miles an hour on that pitch. And the awkward swing by Bryce Harper. These are the in-game adjustments and in-at-bat adjustments. This young man is such a talented player. He's growing in front of our eyes.
2 hits and a walk tonight in his 3 at-bats. And that gets Smoltzy on the phone to the bullpen. As Escobar comes up, he is singled and lined out.
Well, with that lead, you don't have to play in, which is a benefit in this situation. You like to work that ground ball and possibly get 2 outs. Playing for a double play in the middle of the diamond.
They'd happily trade a run for a double play here. Escobar has hit the ball hard all series. Ball 1, with the exception of that double play last night.
Escobar has grounded into 18 double plays on the year, including last night.
Just foul. That one almost got Worth.
This is very close as you see Worth getting out of the way.
Bob Davidson making the call there at third. Second bounce hit the line, but the ball was wide of third when it went by the bag.
As an infielder, you have to, wherever that ball takes you, you have to know where you're going to go with it before it's hit to you.
That includes Cashner. That's a strike. Ball hit back to Cashner. He's got to know he's coming right to the plate. Hope to get a 1-2-3 double play.
Well, this is the best slider of the night. You can see the check swing, but that's called. Watch Austin Hedges stick this pitch on the bottom part of the zone.
Don't let the glove drop down and take it out of the strike zone, which we've seen from Ramos. All right, ahead in the count again, 1-2.
Tried to go back to that slider again and try to get that strikeout.
Bases full of Nationals with no one out here in the 5th inning. And 2-2 the count on Escobar. Worth, Rondon, and Harper aboard. And then he hits him. That'll bring in a run. Looked like it hit him right in the chest. Worth comes in to tie the game. And again, ahead of the hitter, and he loses the hitter, and hopefully that's not anything serious.
It's a 2-seamer that just runs in on Escobar.
Hit him up in the wrist. Oh, that is an area with all the small bones. It can be very troublesome. Now they're escorting him up the line as if he's going to stay in the game.
And it looked like it hit off the top of the hand.
So the inning starts with a leadoff walk. Often a formula for a problem. And then a couple of sharp singles by Rondon and Harper to load him up. And now hit by a pitch, Escobar, with the bases loaded to force in the run. 1-1 tie. It's just amazing, isn't it, that he can be ahead of the hitters consistently all night long, and then he can't get that next strike.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with that slider, and when you don't have an out pitch, which has been that out pitch of late, you're wondering what you can go to. But you're right, Dick. He has gotten hit a lot of hitters tonight. He doesn't have that put-away pitch tonight.
Base is still loaded. Still no one out. Ryan Zimmerman, who in this situation 2 nights ago hit a grand slam to right field. He has fly deep to center. That catch made by Upton on the warning track going away in the first inning. He took a third strike the last time.
55 RBIs on the year, and this guy has been hurt. But the RBI approach to right center, that's the reason why he's dangerous in these situations.
Don't know if he's available, Norris. Ball 1. 2 nights ago against Bud Norris, bases loaded. Zimmerman goes to right field. That's his power alley. 10th home run of the year. 8-3 Washington. The score was 4-2 at the time. Up the middle and a base hit to center. 2 more runs are going to score. Upton's throw to the plate, maybe close, and they get him on the fly. Upton, what a throw. A strike from center field to nail Harper at home plate. So only 1 run for the Nationals, and finally an out here in the 5th inning.
Well, this ball is absolutely smashed past Spangenberg, but nice job by Melvin Upton coming up and gunning Harper out. And a nice play and tag by Austin Hedges. What a big play.
Upton's made a couple of terrific defensive plays tonight. So the dust clears. There's still runners at first and second. The Nationals have claimed the lead 2-1. And Desmond is the hitter. He's grounded out and singled. Get out of this with only 2 runs scoring, and that would be a moral victory.
Yeah, and you see the tag.
Amazing throw on the fly.
And what's so important in this situation for Andrew Casher, try to induce a double play and get out of this inning.
This could be it. Spangenberg, Amarista, bad throw, and Amarista lucky to hang on to the ball. By the time he's able to straighten himself out, no chance to get the double play as that throw off line from Spangenberg. 2 away. Escobar goes to third.
Well, credit Cashner getting that ground ball, but the turn was not made. But watch Amarista on this back end. The throw takes him off the base, and he tags Zimmerman as he's coming down. Very alert play by Alexi Amarista.
That had disaster written on it. Wilson Ramos the batter. First and third, 2 outs. Two runs home to give the Nationals a 2-1 lead here in the 5th inning. Escobar over at third. Desmond at first.
Over 100 pitches. Andrew Cashner has to dig deep here.
Runner goes from first. Outside and no throw. Running start for Desmond. His 12th steal of the year. Goes around. 2-1. a good pitch taken by Ramos. 2-2.
Two-seamer, 97 miles an hour. That ball started off the plate and came back on the edge.
Two on, two out, two in, and 2-2 on Ramos. Strike three called. Hit the outside corner. Got a call from plate umpire Wendelstedt. Boy, that is really walking the tightrope, and that's the big play. The throw by Upton from medium center field on the fly to deny Harper. Then that play by Amarista, and it's only 2-1 Washington. Leading 2-1 as we go to the sixth inning, and our San Diego fans of the game, a familiar face there. I swear that looks just like Ted Enberg.
Yeah, it does.
And his lady, Sarah Miller, getting ready to head back to work.
It's good to have him up here in the press box with us.
Our San Diego fans of the game. He's working in the marketing department for DC United soccer team, and she's up on the Hill as an aide to Senator Reid of Nevada.
It's like a little mini me right there, huh, Dick?
I wish I would have been that good looking. He's a big Padre fan, and don't leave before they come back here now. Ted, named after Ted Williams. So Joe Ross now has the lead 2-1. He's given up only one hit. Top of the order, Jankowski to start the sixth. Takes a strike. Rendon moves over to third as Escobar, hit by that pitch, is out of the game, and Espinosa is taken over at second base. Outside, 1-1.
Well, Rendon moves over to his natural position at third base, and Espinosa's had a tremendous year for him. He's trying to find some playing time, and unfortunately it comes with an injury at Escobar.
The Nationals lead it. Jankowski is grounded out twice to third and to short. Spanshenberg and then Solarte. Again, if that sounds like an unusual lineup, it is the first time ever that the Padres have used this lineup, because Kemp is out, so is Jerko and Norris. Strike three called. Taken all the way by Jankowski, and that's the sixth for Ross. Padres have only the one hit, the bunt single.
Well, again, the slider by Joe Ross. He looks very comfortable now. He's settled into the start. Now he has a lead.
Meanwhile, as you saw, Cashner's pitch count well over 100. Ross is 1 out into the 6th and only 68 pitches. Hits the corner to Spangenberg, who struck out the first time, and then the bunt single that produced the run when Ramos, the catcher fielding the ball, threw it away into right field. Spangenberg all the way to third. Solardi got him home with a sacrifice fly.
When you look at Joe Ross's delivery, and much different to his older brother Tyson. It looks like he hides the baseball well. Very hard to pick up that release point. It's a quick arm, and obviously we talked about his slider, but the fastball's been there too.
95 yet on the fastball.
When pitchers hide the baseball, it's behind their body, and then you don't pick up that release point because you don't see the arm swing. See a lot of foul balls by the Padre hitters tonight, but also taking a lot of pitches.
Line to right field, and Harper there for the catch. 2 away. Brings up Solarte. So Cashner goes 5 innings, gives up 2 runs and 7 hits, struck out 5. It just was in long count after long count. Ross in 5 2/3, 1 run, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts.
Well, the last strikeout by Wilson Ramos for Andrew Cashner, setting a season high and a career high with 129 strikeouts.
But leaves the game trailing 2-1. With all the praise of Joe Ross, he has given up a lot of home runs, a total of 7 in 10 starts. 1-1 to Solarte with Justin Upton on deck.
Matt Thornton gets loose in the Nationals bullpen.
Line but foul. Both the Dodgers and the Giants won today and tonight, so San Francisco is still 2.5 back. Washington watching the scoreboard. The Mets were down 5-2 in Philadelphia, but they've just come back with a 3 spot, and that game is tied at 5. There you have it. 9-1 Giants beat the Cubs today.
Everything going right for the New York Mets.
And Solarte, the toughest Padre to strike out, goes down swinging. 7 strikeouts for Joe Ross. He's pitching a gem. And welcome back to Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Despite 107 pitches coming into the inning, Andrew Cashner stays with it. It'll be Michael Taylor, Joe Ross the pitcher, and then the leadoff hitter Jason Worth. 1-1 to Taylor, who was grounded out and intentionally walked the last time. Again, the slider, just can't throw it for a strike tonight.
Yeah, it doesn't have a feel for that pitch. It'd be so hard when you don't have that out pitch, and I know it's been a success for him in recent starts.
Two and two to Taylor, who's had some monster home runs this year for the Nationals. Long and lean and strong. Just 24.
Well, 127 strikeouts and only 372 at bats.
And he strikes out here, swinging. 6th of the night for Cashner. Now, Melvin Upton tonight has provided the Padres with 2 top defensive plays. First, with 2 on and 2 out in the first inning, he's able to get back and gather this in the basket against Zimmerman. That denied a couple of runs, and then he threw out Bryce Harper at the plate with this strike from center field. What a throw in the last inning. Pinch hitter, they're going to lift Joe Ross here in the last of the 6th inning, and Robinson is the pinch hitter. Flint came up off the bench last night, was hit by a pitch. Fly ball to left field, high enough for Upton to reese under it for the 2nd out.
Well, if you're the Padres, you're really excited that Joe Ross is out of the ballgame. You know, very impressed with the young man, but you got to remember, 22 years old, he's still developing. It's pitch counts and also innings limit for the Washington Nationals perspective, if you're wondering why he's coming out of the game.
What a line for Joe Ross. 6 innings, 1 run unearned, 1 hit, a bunt, single, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. So 2 outs to Jason Worth, who walked to lead off the last inning. And sure enough, it came around to bite Cashner and the Padres. Set the table for a couple of runs and the 2-1 National lead.
Wow.
1-1. That ball is drilled to deep left field. Upton going back, and it is gone into the bullpen. Only the 4th home run of the year for Jason Worth. And a big add-on for the Nationals. It's 3-1.
Well, on the previous pitch, he goes in and does not get a call. In a 1-1 pitch, Jason Worth looks in, and this ball is sitting right on the corner, and it's elevated just a little bit. And credit Jason Worth depositing that in the Padres bullpen.
So a 3-1 lead, 2 outs here in the 6th. Anthony Rondon steps up. Struck out safe on the fielder's choice, the trap ball in center field, and singled and scored in the last inning. .119th pitch for Cashner. So they've asked him to bite the bullet tonight. Cashner, despite all the pitches with that bullpen limited tonight. Boy, Joe, look at that line. The run is unearned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, only the 1 bunt single. Fans a little upset by that pitch, and that Yunel Escobar out of the game when he was hit on the wrist in the last inning.
Well, you got to pitch in.
And he stands right on the plate. Rondon. And there's a shot back through the middle. His second hit. Let's go back to the pitch that might have been strike 3 on Jason Worth. What do you think?
Well, he's working him in, and that looked like a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, that should have been.
And Andrew Cashner goes in again. This is elevated, and Jason Worth looks in for that pitch.
And here's Bryce Harper. Seems like he's up every inning. 3 times up, on base all 3 times. 2 singles and a walk. You saw the signal by Murphy to go out and talk. That was to Austin Hedges. Go out and talk to the pitcher so that Bud Norris has more time to warm up. So with 2 outs here in the 6th, Worth gets a break when strike 3 is not called, then hammers the home run, and then Rondon follows with a single. And here's Harper, single, walk, single. And now timeout called as Murphy will go out and bring in the bullpen's Bud Norris. 121 pitch night for Andrew Cashner. So the score 3-1, a pitching change here in Washington.
Bud Norris in to pitch. You know, yesterday he was down. He's been dealing with an adductor strain, and I asked Pat Murphy before the game if he was going to be available, and about 5:30 this afternoon they still did not know. He said he needs to meet with trainers and see if he's clear, but they obviously need him today with the amount that the bullpen's been stressed. He said if he's not in, some guys are going to have to play different roles. But Mark Sweeney and Dick, we've talked about it. This is a stretch of 23 straight games without a day off for the Padres, so getting Bud Norris back out there is big for this bullpen.
That's a good point, Chris, and Pat Murphy understands that, and credit the training staff of the Padres getting Norris ready for this situation, because it's touch and go, and also Norris has to want to take the baseball in situations like this.
And he gets to face Bryce Harper with 2 outs and Rondon at first base. And our pitching change is brought to you by El Cajon Ford. Norris, since being picked up on waivers, making his 8th appearance.
The 8th appearance, and he had 11 starts for the Baltimore Orioles. Was not successful in that role. He's been pitching out of the bullpen, and you're seeing a uptick with the velocity on the fastball.
Harper on base all 3 times. Both singles to left field. The Padres are not employing even close to, well, they are going to employ a shift as Solarte moves over to the second base side. Only Amarista on the left side of the infield. And he's hit by a pitch. Didn't really try to get out of the way, did he? That's if he'll take that, that's playing into the Padres' hands.
Did he get hit?
Apparently. His fourth time in a row to reach safely. You have to really go to first base.
That was in between his feet. I don't even know if it hit his front foot.
Doesn't matter if he says it hit him, then he goes to first base. That's part of the deal here. Knowing how he wants to swing the bat, I would think in this case he must have been hit. So 2 on, 2 out to Escobar. No longer in there. Escobar hit by that pitch in the last inning, so Danny Espinosa's the batter.
Nick, this is an interesting series for me. The umpires seem to not be on the same page. I don't even know if that ball hit Harper. We've had situation in the first game of the series.
They weren't very demonstrative in indicating that he was hit. He just took first base. 1 strike to Espinosa. Strike 2. 97 fastball. See,
let's go back to this, and you can see in the front foot, looks like it just goes in between his feet. Doesn't even hit him. And he sells it like he got hit. Maybe it hits that back foot as it bounces up. But that's he was taking his stuff off. He was looking back to the umpire. I don't even think he said anything. Very odd.
2 quick strikes on Espinosa. Another 97-mile-an-hour fastball that just misses. 121 pitch night for the Conroe kid, Andrew Kashner. (3-1) now. Washington in front. Norris trying to get out of this 6th inning. .98, so he's got plenty of velocity. Norris 2-2. Wearing Bud Black's old number 20. What's wrong with that one? Well, all 3 of those ball calls have been right around the plate. 3-2. So the perplexed look of manager Murphy. What's wrong with those pitches?
It just looks like they're disconnected of this series, in my opinion. I'm not too harsh on umpires, but I have to be in this series.
Well, that last one was off the plate.
Been very inconsistent.
Foul bat. Swung at ball 4. Rendon back to second and Harper to first. Jason Woods' home run off Kastner, giving the Nationals a 3-1 lead. Ryan Zimmerman would be next. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And the inning comes to an end. Norris gets Espinosa his first time at bat, but Jason Worth off Kashner able to drive one to left for his 4th home run, and it's 3-1. Geico May 17th this year. Justin Upton, 2 home runs against the Nationals. The first off Steven Strasburg, the second off Tanner Roark. And, of course, last night it marked the 10th time he hit 2 homers in a game when he repeated that performance in the 6-5 Padre win. And it's Upton leading off here in the 7th against the new pitcher, Casey Janssen. 36th outing.
Casey Janssen, fastball, cut fastball, slider, and curveball. He gave up the home run to Jed Jerko first night of this series.
Starts him with a slow breaking pitch. Jansen pitched an inning on Tuesday night and gave up a run. The home run to Jed Jerko. Matt Kemp not in the lineup. Bruised last night on a dive in right field trying to capture a line drive. Upton has walked and struck out. Last night, just listen. Oh, that sound. That's the sound of a ball being squared up. 2 home runs for Upton, 21 and 22, and the solo, the 6th run, was the difference in the game. When you barrel him up like that, you don't even feel it. Huh?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where he is hitting either. He believes he can hit it out of any part of any ballpark.
First home run was to left field, the second to right field. Inside, 2-2.
Now Casey Janssen with the cutter will pitch in for effect, try to move his feet, and then try to expose him to the outside part of the plate.
Got him off speed on a couple of deliveries for strikes, and Upton strikes out for the 2nd time tonight.
MLS Soccer Sundays returns this week with an East Coast rivalry as the New York Red Bulls take on DC United at 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports 1, sponsored by Audi.
So Jansen now 33. He'll be 34 the 1st of next month. Product of UCLA. And the first pitch to Alonso misses. Yonder is walked and flied out. Goes around. Boy, the Padre hitters totally handcuffed tonight. Hit a bloop and a blast here, trailing 3-1 in the 7th. Melvin Upton Jr. is on deck. Jansen originally selected by the Toronto Blue Jays back in 2004. Strike 3, caught looking. Another strikeout for the Washington pitching staff. That's 9 tonight. Back-to-back punch-outs, Upton and Alonso for Jansen.
Well, the difference has been tonight, the Padres' approach offensively, to me, looks passive. They've taken a lot of first pitches, and they've got themselves into a lot of pitching counts.
Melvin.
Strikeouts, too.
Melvin Upton is struck out and lined up. Made a couple of sterling defensive plays, Melvin Upton. Hit deep to center field. That ball is rocketed to center. Back goes Taylor, and it's off the wall. Taylor crashes hard into the wall, and Upton is on his way to third base and will come in standing with a triple. And let's hope that Taylor's all right. He hit that wall flush, and we'll see just where he might have injured himself. Upton just misses a home run to straightaway center field.
Well, this ball is crushed by Melvin. You can see the effort by Taylor against the wall and crashing into his body.
You can see the knee ripping up the padding there at the 402 sign, and he also hit his head into the wall. Man, he got it down low. Look at the tear in the covering over the padded wall.
Oh, that's from his cleat.
A valiant effort by the young center fielder. Let's see if he can stay in the game. That's only the second hit for the Padres in the entire game. The bunt single and a near home run triple. Looks like he's going to have to come out. That right knee went in to the wall. They've already lost Yunel Escobar, hit by a pitch, by a Kastner pitch. He doesn't seem too eager to stay.
It's a knee, and you wonder if a long walk back to the dugout. It's a talented young man, starting in the place of Denard Span tonight, who recently came off the disabled list.
I guess it'll be Span that'll go out to replace him. Trey Turner, who with young Joe Ross came here to Washington in the Will Myers deal. Turner's going to go to shortstop and Desmond to the outfield. So something must be wrong with Denard Span, who played last night, had a couple of doubles, but not in the lineup. You would figure that he'd be the replacement. Hate to see that. Let's hope this is just a bruise and nothing serious for young Taylor. So Jansen gives up a 2-out triple. Padres with a chance to cut into that 3-1 lead. So Espinosa goes to left field, and Turner takes over at second base, with Harper moving from right to center and Worth from left to right. So the outfield then, Espinosa in left, Harper in center, and Worth in right field.
It tells me they want to stay away from Denard Span, who has come off the disabled list to start this series, and you see the wall where Michael Taylor went into. Like you said, Dick, hopefully he is okay.
A chance now for the Padres as Jed Jerko hits for Amarista and takes strike one. Jerko homered off the man he faces 2 nights ago. One and one. Upton just a couple of feet from a home run. Picked the longest part of the yard.
That was a sweet swing.
See if Jerko can put a jolt in one. Tuesday night, off Strasburg, a home run for Jerko. And then later in the game with Jansen on the mound, hit another. No doubter. Now 2 balls and a strike to count. 3-1.
And that's the reason why you see that fastball inside, because Casey Jansen remembers that pitch.
Last 24 games, hitting .301, Jed. 5 home runs. Austin Hedges would be next. Full count. Padres have Brett Wallace available, a left-handed hitter. Up and down the line at third. 3-2 to Jerko. Ripped. Oh, what a play at third. And it's all crossed in time. Oh, my. Rendon just took a run and a double away from Jerko. That's the big play for the Nationals tonight. That was headed for the left field corner. How did he get his glove on that one? Oh, my. Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic or butter. By Petco, what we feed them matters. And by Kona Brewing Company, one life, right? Don't blow it. Mahalo. Well, a brilliant play at third base by Anthony Rendon, just moving over to third base in this last inning or two. And that took a sure double away from Jerko and a run for the Padres. Yes, Kevin Quackenbush comes in to work the bottom of the 7th inning. He'll face Ryan Zimmerman, Ian Desmond, and Wilson Ramos.
All right-handed hitters, and you can see the success against righties. .211 average for Kevin Quackenbush.
Clint Barmas goes in to play shortstop. He'll be batting in the 9th spot in the batting order. First pitch to Quackenbush is greeted with a home run off the bat of Ryan Zimmerman. Boy, almost like he knew what was coming. It's 4-1 as Zimmerman, true to form, hitting the home run to the opposite field. His second RBI tonight. And the second Washington home run. Jason Worth with the other.
What a tough sequence of events for the San Diego Padres. The play by Rendon, and then the first hitter of the inning deposits that fastball up in the strike zone to right center.
Oh, that had that nasty sound if you're a pitcher. Well, Quackenbush, one pitch, one home run. Here's Ian Desmond. He has a single in 3 trips tonight. Look at this play. How does he get that ball?
It's a natural position for him, and Espinosa with the injury goes to third base, and the reaction time and the glove work and the strong arm over to first base.
Yeah, that was 3-2, and Turco standing on second base. And the strikeout of Desmond, 1 away. That'll bring up Wilson Ramos.
Dick, you've got to constantly be reminded that Anthony Rendon has been hurt a lot for the Washington Nationals. They've dealt with a lot of adversity. This young man was 5th in the MVP voting last year.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays you expect. Machado up at Baltimore, and certainly Arenado at Colorado. Ramos has struck out twice and grounded to short. Mets at Philadelphia still tied at 5 in the 8th inning. The attendance tonight, 28,908. Storin and Trinan, 2 right-handers, listening in the Nationals bullpen. Rocket to left field. Ramos with his first hit tonight. That's the 11th for the Nationals.
As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag SDDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. The Minkster.
Nation's capital. There are a lot of folks that have migrated from San Diego and working here in the district, maintaining their Padre loyalties. Here's Trey Turner, first at bat, looking for his first major league hit. Way outside with a breaking ball. Turner has been up just 4 times, looking for his first hit. North Carolina State Wolfpack, #1 draft pick last June by the Padres. That's a wicked curveball, 1-2.
You see that age comparison, 22 years old. Bryce Harper, the right fielder, now center fielder, is 22 years old.
Joe Ross, 22, the starting pitcher, who was nearly perfect. 1 run unearned and 1 hit.
A lot of young talent in the game of baseball. That's a good sign if you're a baseball fan.
You bet. Austin Hedges, just 22 for the Padres. Outside. No full count to Turner. Ryan Zimmerman, his 11th home run of the season. Fly ball to right. Jankowski for the second out. So the first major league hit won't come against the team for whom he played until mid-June in the minors. Doug Fister, good hitting pitcher, is going to pinch hit.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
So Fister on the season, hitting .241, 7 hits and 29 at bats. That's an opportunity here as a pinch hitter. We'll just check and see how many times he's been used in this role. This is his 3rd at bat as a pinch hitter. He's 1 for 2.
Well, pitched 2 in the 3rd innings last night, so he's probably not going to be used. And why not use him as a pinch hitter?
Ramos at first base, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Washington's added on Ryan Zimmerman's home run to make it a 4-1 game. And down goes Fister. A couple of strikeouts for Quackenbush, but a run on a couple of hits for Washington. It's 4-1. All right, thank you, Mike. In the top of the 8th inning, the Padres will send up Hedges, the pitcher spot, and Jankowski. Barmes is in that 9th spot, so he'll hit 2nd unless manager Murphy uses a pinch hitter. Hedges has struck out and grounded the 3rd tonight. Loops that one foul. Repairing the damage created when Taylor ran into that wall in center field. Pretty good patch job done by the grounds crew. No word on either Yunel Escobar hit by a pitch nor Taylor running into the wall as to the extent of their injuries. 2 strikes on Hedges.
Well, Dick, you heard Steve Finley and Mike Pomeranz talk about it shortening the game for the Washington Nationals. Drew Storen pitched an inning last night with a strikeout and a clean inning. This is a talented young man that was closing for this team. Now moved to the 8th inning.
Fly ball just into foul territory goes the first baseman Zimmerman. 1 away. That battle between Mud Grant and Chris Button continues. Grant a -1, Button a +1, so she now leads by 1 point. 2 points. 2 points from 200 there, Mark Sweeney for Edinburgh. Watch out. I like to run from behind. That's the story of my life. Here's Barbas. 93 on the Storen fastball. Oh, and 2. Grisamer Despagne, he's the one healthy arm out in the bullpen, or healthy in regards to rested arm. (4-1) Washington trying to win the rubber game of this 3-game series. Barma sends a fly ball to left field. Espinosa has to back up. 2 away. And our game is presented tonight in brilliant HD by Sony. Travis Jankowski, the leadoff hitter, a couple of groundouts and a strikeout tonight. Padres have announced that they're going to play the Chihuahuas next year.
I'm looking forward to that.
At El Paso at the end of spring training, March 31st, they're going to go to El Paso and play the AAA franchise in that beautiful ballpark in El Paso.
That's a gorgeous ballpark. I know Pat Murphy has high praise for the fan base in El Paso.
They certainly are excited to see the big club right before the start of the season next year. 1-1 to Jankowski. Stony Brook University on Long Island. Ted Jerko saying, man, I put such a good swing on that one. How did he get that ball? Rondon. Lifted off third. That's going to make it into the seats.
It should be an exciting series for Jankowski and also his family. A lot of family members are going to come down to Philadelphia to see that series. Yeah, heard there's a wedding in the works.
There's already a wedding there, so they're going to be there to begin with.
Perfect timing.
He's going to have the whole wedding party. That could be more than 100 tickets. So the Philly series begins tomorrow night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. It'll be Ian Kennedy tomorrow night, 4 o'clock our TV time, against Aaron Nora, and then on Saturday night, 3:30 our TV time, Colin Ray gets his 4th start against Adam Morgan, another young Philly pitcher, and then James Shields will go Sunday our TV time at 10 o'clock. He'll face Jerome Williams, the veteran, who's 4-10.
A rebuilding process for the Philadelphia Phillies. They have let go a lot of their older players, and Cole Hamels was the big trade to Texas Rangers.
Chase Utley, Dodgers. Full count, Jankowski. Line drive, left field, but it's carrying right to Espinosa. Well hit by Jankowski. Bad luck right to the left fielder. fourth inning on the bunt single, two-base error, and the sacrifice fly off Joe Ross for a 1-0 lead. But Nats have come back. 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth, 1 in the seventh. Home runs by Worth and Zimmerman. And the bottom of the eighth, Quackenbush stays in for a second inning. It'll be Worth, Rondon, and Harper for the Nats. 4 runs, 11 hits, 1 error for Washington, 1 run, 2 hits. No errors for San Diego. Worth a single, a walk, and a home run the last 3 times up. And he hit the ball deep his first time up to right center field, Upton making the catch. Off speed for a strike. Worth with 2, then Rondon with 2, Harper with 2 hits. Been on base all 4 times, Harper. Escobar 1 for 2 before he was hit by a pitch. Bases loaded, forced in a run. Zimmerman with 2 hits, 2 RBIs, a home run. Reaches out and punches a fly ball into foul territory, and Jankowski runs it down. 1 away. Here's our National University standings in the wild card picture. Pittsburgh in position with a 3.5 game lead over Chicago, but that's 9 games ahead of San Francisco.
And San Francisco took care of the Chicago Cubs, won that series. Should be an exciting race. Possible 3 teams out of the Central.
It's almost impossible for the Nationals to be the wild card. Their best bet is to catch the Mets, and they do have 6 games remaining with New York. 3 in New York, 3 here.
Challenges for Matt Williams and the Washington Nationals moving forward is to chase down the New York Mets.
A ball, 2 strikes. Rondon. He's healthy now, and it shows. The last half dozen games he's hitting like he did last year. 2 for 4 tonight. Marlins come in tomorrow night for a 3-game series against the Nationals. And then Washington goes to St. Louis for 3. So
well, they have their work cut out for them. Obviously health is going to come into play, but only 1 game over 500 coming into tonight, with a lot of expectations on the shoulders of these Washington Nationals.
2-2 now to Rondon.
You can't win on paper, Dick. You understand you go through adversity. Everyone does.
So much praise at the start of the year. Barmes able to glove that and throw him out. Turnabout's fair play. Rondon taking that double away from Jerko, and Barmes denies Rondon a base hit. Nicely played by the veteran shortstop.
How about Clint Barmes, 2 hits left and going down on a knee and getting into great throwing position, making a great play against Anthony Rendon. Nice pick on the back end by Yonder.
A closed captioning from Washington, brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. Bryce Harper. The Padres keep him off the base paths. 2 singles, a walk, and a hit batsman on 4 straight times. Lead on that swing, 0-2. That Mets-Phillies game is now in the top of the 9th inning, still tied at 5. Well, the shift finally takes a hit away from Harper as Amherst makes the play. A 1-2-3 inning for Quackenbush. Top of the 9th, the Padres need 3. Got their run in the 4th inning. Spangenberg's bunt single makes it all the way to 3rd on the wild throw by Ramos, and Solardi sacrifice fly 1-0 San Diego. Bases loaded. Escobar hit by Kastner. That tied the game. And then Zimmerman drilled a single to center field to give Washington the lead. A great throw by Upton in center tonight. Harper another run. Then Jason Worth with his 4th home run of the season off Kastner. And Zimmerman adds another home run off Quackenbush to make it 4-1. Our Harrah's game summary. Meanwhile, the Padres with only one other hit. Spangenberg's bunt single and then the triple by Upton. Jerko followed as a pinch hitter, and it looked as if the Padres were going to get a run there on a double, but Anthony Rondon at third base made a sensational play to deny Jerko and the Padres. Jonathan Papelbon came in last night, pitched the 9th inning, retired the side in order, and struck out 2. A save situation as he goes for 21 out of 21. Spangenberg leads off the 9th. Solarte and Upton to follow. Lined out to right field this last time after the bunt single and the run in the 4th.
Well, Dick, against Papelbon, most closers will command that outside part of the plate, and they're going to force you to hit the other way.
There it is, outside corner, 2-1.
And because of their command, typically they will get a bigger part of that plate. You have to be able to hit off the plate. And for Papelbon, he goes to the slider and also the split against left-handers.
Upstairs, 3-1. Spangenberg trying to reach base safely here, get something going in the 9th. Full count. That's going to slice into the crowd down the left field side. Pretty good distance. A couple of Padre fans down there.
Good showing this series for the Padre faithful.
All four. Well, that's a good start. Leadoff walk for Spanshenberg. Looking ahead to that Philadelphia series again, as we told you, Kennedy against Nola tomorrow night at 4. Then 3:30 our TV time on Saturday. Colin Ray goes for his third win against young Morgan, and then veteran Shields and Williams will hook up on Sunday at 10 in the morning. Leadoff walk Spanshenberg. Solarte 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Need one more base runner. Get that tying run to the plate here in the ninth. Justin Upton on deck. Oh, that's a balk. No one was covering it. Zimmerman was not holding on Spanshenberg, and so Papelbon whirled to throw over there, and there was no first baseman, so he held the ball. A balk on Papelbon that moves Spanshenberg into scoring position.
Yeah, that's odd for Jonathan Papelbon, because before the pitch is thrown at first baseman, as we see the move to first and not a throw, that's the reason why it's a balk. But Ryan Zimmerman already communicated that he's playing off the base behind the runner.
Well, the Padres have a man in scoring position without the aid of a base hit. See if Solarte can keep it going, bring Upton up there as a tying run. Line, but it's carrying to the center fielder, and Harper's there to make the catch. Padres have hit a lot of line drives to the outfield tonight. One away, and here's Upton. On my count, 4 balls well struck, line drive outs to the Washington Fly Chasers. Upton walked and struck out twice. 2 home runs last night. That's on the outside corner.
Justin didn't like that call.
Just off the plate. As you said, those veteran closers, they get those calls.
They do.
That was a better pitch. 1-1. You see the patch on the National sleeves, a 10-year anniversary coming here. Montreal franchise. 1-2. '11th season. And they've built themselves a nice ball club.
A beautiful ballpark in the history. Gary Carter and Andre Dawson from Montreal.
Both in Cooperstown. Good stop by Ramos as the count levels at 2-2. Yonder Alonso will be next. That's well outside. Full count.
Yeah, a lot of umpiring in the stands.
So 3-2 to Upton. He gets him anyway. That would have been ball 4. Third strikeout tonight for Upton. With 2 away, Yonder Alonso will try to keep it alive. Alonso has flied to right, walked, and struck out. Every regular in the lineup tonight for the Padres has struck out. A total of 10. Only 2 hits. That bunt single by Spangenberg and the long triple up into center. A lean night for the Padre hitters. One out away from Joe Ross winning his 5th game as a Washington rookie. In extra innings in Philadelphia now tied at 5, the Mets and Phils. Two and 1. Alonso can reach safely. Melvin Upton, who just missed a home run, would be next. Joe and Tyson Ross's parents on the far left and far right.
What a great couple of days for that family.
Ground ball into right field. That'll chase Spangenberg around third, and he scores. It's 4-2. And that will bring the tying run to the plate here in the top of the 9th inning. Alonso delivers his 29th RBI of the year.
A nice approach by Yonder Alonso, covering that outside part. And an RBI single and giving that opportunity and hope to the San Diego Padres.
Melvin Upton did everything but hit it out of the park. He got a triple off the top of the center field fences last time. Oh, broken bad little looper on the infield with a lot of English on it, but good enough for the out. Ball game is over. Final score here. Final game of the 3-game series. Washington 4, San Diego 2. Here's Mike Pomerantz.